Black culture is often utilized and exploited within popular media and culture as a means to benefit and promote one's interest. In the media, several celebrities without significant African ancestry have allied themselves within the African American culture in order to succeed in areas traditionally dominated or needed by Black people. This pass is usually given to musicians or politicians who have done significant work to acknowledge the Black community, and something referred to as a Black pass. The criteria for a Black pass is very difficult to understand because it's a social construction. There is no specific criteria for it because it's not spoken about it, but there is a definite universal understanding of what needs to be done. I refer to Black passes as reverse passing because people who are not Black seek to gain the same acceptance into the Black community as other people who pass into other racial groups. So this pass, the Black pass, is usually reserved to people who have personal ties to African American experience, or people who uplift the African American culture. But those reasons in that definition varies from person to person. I feel like I've heard the term Black pass so often and I use it a lot, but I actually don't have a concrete definition for what it means. And I think Black pass the definition varies greatly for other people, but the main criteria for having a Black pass is having an appreciation for the culture. But what is a Black pass? Who knows?
Is like bestowed upon someone who actually isn't Black, and but still identifies with the culture, in a big way.
People other than Black people who I feel can say the N-word.
An intangible thing given to people who wouldn't identify as African American or Black on the census, but culturally speaking, they exhibit some qualities or have done some good for the Black community.
But it really depends on the person.
It very much does affect especially in the entertainment industry, a lot of the way artists are perceived.
There is no one criteria for having a Black pass. Black passes are determined and given out by Black people, and because Black people are individuals and very different, Black passes mean different things to different people.
Black passes are given once Black people in particular see that sort of their culture is being taken on in a tasteful way, in a way that neither slights nor offends at least a large population of the Black community.
I guess it's about being supportive of the race.
Sometimes people think it's the music they listen to. Music's really important. Experiences growing up.
It has to do with showing that you are trying to understand more than what you have grown up with, can kind of basically is the basis for me for getting a pass.
To me, the Black pass comes from dipping your hand in the culture, but also just being good at it.
In all honesty, I think that white people who dance hip hop, and they dance it incredibly well, I think that they don't get white passes, but I think that they're deemed as incredibly cool. And so when they can, dance in that sort of way, and when they do become a part of that environment, I think that, other people see them as Black because they can move.
If you are consistently showing that you are trying to get out of the particular experience that you have had to understand what it might have meant to grow up as Black.
Not being racist, recognizing your privileges and using those to the benefit of other Black people, even though you yourself are not Black.
And what does it take for someone to lose that pass?
For you to go too far,
I agree with that.
Like what?
Disrespect. Is that what you're doing? Yeah. I think that's the disrespect of the community, the disrespect of the culture.
I feel like once it gets more into the appropriation, or sort of that person loses their sort of vigor in fighting for equality, then you get your Black pass revoked.
In the more serious aspect of it, for some, I don't really feel like people should get Black passes. You could just be like an ally to Black people. But if I were to give a pass to anyone, it would be to someone who genuinely respects the culture. It's not mocking it.
A Black pass is given to someone. A black card is something that one is born with.
Card, which is often, between Black people.
Pretty much anyone who's born Black has a Black card. is representative of sort of like your connection to the Black community, especially in sort of mainstream American Black culture.
I think of it as being like kind of like a Black spokesperson almost, and like you can cash in the card if you feel like someone is being derogatory or dismissive of that like Black culture. It's a very personal thing, and you know you can bring it up whenever you feel as if it needs to be brought up.
A Black card is the demonstration of commitment to the Black community and Black culture. While the primary criteria for having a Black card is to be Black, you don't necessarily get to keep your card just because you are Black. In order to have and retain your card, you need to have knowledge of Black history and also Black popular culture as well. Just as quickly as you get a Black card, you can also get it revoked.
So my mom actually says that I lost my Black card because I'm too bougie, if that makes sense. Like I'm so serious. Like she says this. I do certain things now. I hang out with certain people. So she's like, "Oh, you've lost your Black card," and I'm like, "What are you talking about? That makes no sense." Because clearly I look the way I look, I identify the way I identify. She's like, "No, Kira, like, no, not at all."
And I've heard people talk about if you've seen certain types of movies, or movies and music is what I've heard.
Like, can you give examples of like what type of
Like,
music?
you haven't seen The Color Purple? Taking your card away.
A Black person that has usually gained a substantial amount of privilege is not using it in a way that benefits the Black community, and in fact they're usually doing things or saying things that sort of push back against large portions of our community, and they're not really trying to uplift all of us.
Like you're just using it in a way that doesn't inspire conversation, or that is like trying to just be sensationalist.
What's different about Black passes is that they are seen as a valuable commodity. People chase after them because they're seen as cool or culturally cool, or they have some sort of entertainment value to them. But in order to have a Black pass, what you need to do is you have to have a certain degree of allyship. You don't have to be a complete ally, but you have to respect the culture that you're trying to assimilate into, or at least take part in. And you have to really respect the people that you're trying to assimilate with and take part of their culture with. There is no one criteria for having a Black pass. Black passes are determined and given out by Black people, and because Black people are individuals and very different, Black passes mean different things to different people.
I think he's like a Russian basketball player, and he's married to a Black woman.
Dirk Nowitzki?
Yes, yes. And he recently bought like a takeout plate or like a to-go plate to a game. He was walking into the arena with it, and people were like, "You know, this man is Black. You know, he's married to a Black woman." When he brings a to-go plate to the arena, so I think that he too has a Black pass.
No, I think that Matt McQuarrie has a Black pass. I don't even, honestly, at this point, I don't really think of him as white. One, because he's got a little bit of melanin. I kind of think of him like not really as like a white man anymore. Like he has almost transcended that for me.
Eminem has a Black pass.
Eminem is one who usually gets a Black pass, sort of because his circumstances growing up. He identifies with a lot of similar struggles with the Black community, though at least from what I've seen, he's never taken it too far to say, as far as like he is Black, or like fully understands like the severity of all these interrelated issues.
Y'all act like you never seen a white person before. He didn't just say what I think he did he? And Dr. Dre said, "Nothing, you idiots. Dr. Dre's dead. He's locked in my basement."
Eminem has a conditional Black pass. There's kind of a considerable effort being made, or there's a recognition that this is Black culture, and it's something that kind of he's infringing upon in a way, but it's also something that he's identifying with. And I think that identification in politics is so tricky. So he has a conditional pass. Like if he said some shit, I would pop off. But as of right now, okay, Eminem. Also, I like Eminem.
Christina Aguilera
does not have a Black pass. No.
Why not?
She might have a Latino pass, but definitely not a Black pass.
Yeah.
There are no ties to the Black community that I see or think of.
I would say Christina Aguilera does not, although Girl Can Sing.
it's not enough that like for us to like give her a pass.
Yeah, I also don't think she tries to really surround herself around Black culture as much as I would
think.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen anything from her that it's like, oh wow, like she's speaking out about these things and she thinks that XYZ is not okay.
Adele.
Adele definitely gets a Black pass.
No. Why wouldn't Adele have a Black pass? Why am I laughing so hard?
Because oftentimes when people hear her sing, they're like, oh my gosh, she, without seeing her, they're like, oh, she must be Black.
It's a beautiful voice.
Yeah,
It's like
there's something like so like rich and deep about it that it's like.
It's too rich and powerful to just come from like, I don't know, like just like a random white woman. Like it has to. There's something like deeper to it than that.
Okay, so Adele, she takes a lot of inspiration from Black culture and Black music without performing blackface. And that's something that so many like artists nowadays don't understand how to do.
Justin Timberlake has a Black pass.
Justin Timberlake does not have a Black pass. Once again, because I feel like he hasn't really said anything that has to do with like advocacy or kind of acknowledgement.
He definitely immerses himself in Black culture on the regular.
It's just something I've never really thought of extensively, but I'm trying to think about why I was never as uncomfortable with him singing hip-hop lyrics and, and acting in that way, and people being super excited because he's a white guy who can do what a Black guy does.
Also, how many like Black women has he dated? That's what I want to
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily like a requirement, but when you consider the fact that Black women are the least sought out in terms of like romantic partners, I think there's something really powerful in loving a Black woman. But at the same time, like white men loving Black women has a very, very strong history of power and domination.
Robin Thicke.
Oh Lord.
No, not at all.
I really thought he did. I'm pretty sure it was ripped off of a Marvin Gaye song. He's a good musician. He sings what he sings well. I mistook him for a Black man the first time I heard Lost Without You. He wasn't acting in a way that seemed like he thought this was a gimmick, that Blackness was a gimmick. And some people might say, oh, because he was married to a Black woman, he gets a Black pass.
Before he and Paula were over, did you think...
Oh, I forgot.
I think you could argue that you lost it.
I don't really feel that way necessarily.
It's something that even Black men don't get. Dating a Black woman does not make you not racist.
He also just exudes like, I don't know, like something that's like something that can only come from being a white man. Like in this country.
Kim Kardashian has a Black pass.
No. No.
No, never.
No. Okay.
No.
Kim Kardashian does not have a Black pass. Kylie Jenner does not have a Black pass. She does not have a Latina pass.
Particularly because I feel like she could be doing so much more. I mean, the same with like, just because dating a Black woman doesn't make you, like, not racist or more tolerant.
I think they know that, and I think that they don't care, which is more the issue than them not even getting the Black pass or whatever. Just because now that she does have 2 Black children, and she herself is not Black, they're going to face things that she's never had to face. And that's going to be a new awakening for her.
Iggy Azalea.
Next question.
Like Iggy Azalea? Hell no. Hell no.
First things first, I'm the realest. Drop this and let the whole world feel it. Let 'em feel it. And I'm still in the murder business. I can hold you down like I'm giving lessons in physics.
Like the black scent and things are all just too much, and it's just very inauthentic all around.
And I think she really wanted this like Black pass, and that's why like she tried so hard to with the accent, with the music,
Yeah.
but
With the boyfriend.
Right. And having T.I. there like made it a pretty good claim, but there's something like again like
I think that has to be like pretty authentic, like Adele.
Yeah.
That like lets you get that pass. Who?
Macklemore.
Oh, no, hell no. Woo. He's not a great rapper, and he gets like accolades over people who are great rappers.
The fact that he wrote that song on white privilege, but then only like didn't actually address anything about systemic racism or like it just, he brought the issue of racism back to himself, and that's just not okay.
That's what I think that he should acknowledge, and he should acknowledge how his white male privilege gives him the ability to get those accolades. Then he would get a black pass. But as of right now, he has no black pass.
And Bill Clinton, does he get a black pass?
First black president. No, I don't think he gets a pass. Do I like him more? Yeah. But that still doesn't get him a pass.
I'll say he did have a black card. He did have a black card. I don't know. Looking at him now, I'm just.
Why don't you think he still has it?
You know what? Maybe you know what gave him that black card though. It's like it's a multitude of things, obviously, but like obviously fighting for like socioeconomic like problems, playing sax, like he had all these like different like claims. He like again when I talk about dipping your fingers into the water, he was like swimming.
He also just made efforts to like gain the black vote, and so that was something that many presidents up to that point had never done.
Right.
And so that's when people saw like someone who tried to represent the black community in politics, that to them I guess was like enough to like give him a black pass.
Right.
But also just the fact that once he was in office, he wasn't very. His policies were not in the interest of black people at all, and have come to hurt us over time. In many ways.
People shouldn't be striving for passes. They should really be striving for the protection, the upliftance, and the prolongment of the black community. A black card is the demonstration of commitment to the black community and black culture. While the primary criteria for having a black card is to be black, you don't necessarily get to keep your card just because you are black. Just as quickly as you get a black card, you can also get it revoked.
I think it's much easier, at least in the way I think about it, to get your black pass revoked. For me, basically, if you say anything that it's kind of like is derogatory or shows that you don't truly understand or you don't care to understand, can get your black pass revoked. Black card, I'm much warier of.
Raven Simone.
Revoking the hell out of that shit. I mean, she is somewhat hypocritical because she said that she would not hire anyone who has a ghetto-sounding name.
Back racist and say discriminatory because I think that's a better word.
Yes, it is much better.
That's a better word, and I am very discriminatory against words like the ones that they were saying in those names. I'm not about to hire you if your name is Watermelon Andrea. It's just not gonna happen.
First of all, her name is Raven Simone with an accent and a hyphen.
She seems to forget that she's black.
I don't feel like she wants her card or pass. I don't feel like Raven wants her card or pass. I feel like she's giving it away. So, I mean, I'll take it if she doesn't want it.
I would not say black card revoked, only because, unlike Don Lemon, like, she doesn't have her own show. She's with all these other women, and, like, I don't think anyone really cares what she has to say. Like, it's irritating, but she's not, like leading anything.
Ben Carson does not. I mean, he black card revoked also, like indefinite status of revocation.
But I think to revoke his black card, to say that he's not black because he has XYZ opinion, is pretty incorrect.
Rather than trying to change the system or question the system or challenge the system, he seems to be putting it on us, on the black community, to get equality.
I think that we have to widen our scope of what we think of black politics.
Don Lemon.
Don Lemon has his black card revoked. He is doing whatever that white-owned network wants him to do to, like, be like on the cutting edge or whatever, and it's not helpful. He's not contributing to the conversation. He is just like putting up a sign that says the N-word. Like, I'm sorry, it's not doing much. So yeah, you get your black card vote. Economic status, I think that that's a very real thing. It's something that I dealt with. Like, I thought of myself as a different kind of black, especially since I went to a public elementary school that was quite rowdy, and like I wasn't that way, and so I was like, oh, I'm different than them. And it is kind of, it's almost like a pathology. Like, you, first of all, white people tell you you're different. You're like, oh, you know, you're hardly black. And then you start to kind of believe, oh, I'm different. Oh, like, I have this money, or I have X, Y, Z, and this kind of protects me from all these things. And I think of it as kind of a growth process to realize, no, it doesn't necessarily protect you. I mean, there was all those things with, Charles Blow's son at Yale, when he got stopped by the police, and Charles Blow was like, wow, like, I kind of thought that this wouldn't happen to him because of, you know, me, and because of our money and whatnot. I think that's it's obviously something that's very contained in kind of that like Black Martha's Vineyard bubble, but it is real, and it's not. It doesn't make you less black. It just kind of, from my perspective, makes you kind of sad, because when something happens, and it's going to be this like crazy moment, and two, I think it just makes you unaware.